USA. So look, today we're going to talk about some Grant Cardone videos. He's got one here, easiest way to become a millionaire in real estate. I got another one, buying real estate with no money, and 6 things to look for in real estate. So I thought we'd look at some of these. You guys know I am not a fan of Grant Cardone's. I don't think he really knows anything really about real estate. I think he's good at raising money from other people and buying property with other people's money. But that is really that's not really of much value to you unless you're going to try to put a fund together, which, he is a fantastic speaker and motivator, and he definitely has some chops for motivating people in business. His 10 Times book, which I've never read, but I think people respect him for it. And the things I've heard him talk about on that, I would agree with. Really work hard and try to make yourself an asset, worth more to the boss, that sort of thing, just common sense stuff. But as far as real estate goes, and I've interviewed even some people that have paid for, different things with Grant. They haven't been happy with his real estate expertise. They don't think he has any, the ones that I've talked to, and I haven't seen it myself either. But nevertheless, he's a popular guy, so we can talk about him. So that's what we'll do. Hey, those of you that just got here, be sure to get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. I believe I have more millionaires in my class, more millionaire students than anybody out there teaching has ever had, period. Even combine them all. Grant Cardone, Pace, all these other guys. Look, you can't fake experience. I mean, you can fake it for so long, but in the end result, you'll see it in the students, whether they perform well or not. And my students are just absolute, they're just killers. They're doing fantastic. Many of my students are multimillionaires now, and I've only been teaching people for about 3.5 years. But they grab the fundamentals and they go with the program. They're in the mentorship class. I have a mentorship class every single week. You talk to me. Everybody has my phone number. Everybody that I mentor, they have my phone number. They can get a hold of me, and that's really one of the critical key things to success is being able to reach somebody when you need it. You need to know, hey, am I right? Am I wrong? What should I do? And I'm there for you. So I've got a webinar this Thursday, 7 p.m. Do them almost every Thursday. So 7 p.m. Central. Be sure to sign up for it. I'm telling you, it could change your life. I've got people that have become millionaires. I got people that made several $100,000 in just a couple, 1 year, in 1 year, and that had no idea, far exceeded their expectations. You can see the videos of my testimonials too. Anytime you want to see them, just go to FlipAnythingUSA.com, and you can go to the success stories, right? FlipAnythingUSA.com/success. And in fact, I'll pull this up so you can see right here. Just go right here to the success page, and what you can do is sign up right here. Just sign up for the webinar, apply for mentorship, go to the, off the success story. You can fill this out right here. It's just a small questionnaire, and you fill out the mentorship survey, and you get to talk to me for free. And I look at people's problems all over the country on properties that they have, and sometimes just a little advice might save you $1 million or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you get it free just for signing up. Signing up for the webinar or the mentorship. I'll talk to you either way. So, anyways, anybody had? Hey, hi, Isaac. Good to see you in here. I think what we can do, and also please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. That helps the channel, and lets me know if you think I'm doing it right or wrong. Anyways, so let's jump over here. And let's just watch this first one. Buying real estate with no money down. I've got some strong opinions on how he does that, but it's not no money. It's just none of his own money. But let's watch this one first. Also, anybody want to call in, you can call in at that number you see, 424-866-7929, and we can talk. And son, are you monitoring this? Everything good? Test. Okay, all right. I've got this. All right, so let's open this up. Okay, number 1, buying real estate with no money.
Hey, if you're anything like me, you want to know how to buy.
So we'll start with this, and feel free to comment. If somebody wants to call in. You can do that too. There's a number. Let's watch this.
Real estate with no money. I've been doing this since I was 30 years old. My first deal, I put 3,500 down. Hey, look, I count that as no money, almost no money.
Okay. Well, I appreciate him stating that. I think on that, he's bought so little real estate by himself, really. And I think he's pointing to a property from back in the 70s or 80s. I think I know this because it's the only one he ever points to.
I literally put $3,500 down on a $78,000 asset that cash flowed from day one. No money doesn't mean no money. It means either a little bit of money or somebody else's money.
What's that?
His video was echoing, but I had it perfect in my test just now.
Okay, then I know what it is. We got a little echo there, I'm told. Let's try that again, so we don't have quite so much echo. So again, Grant Cardone, what I've seen him and the advice I've seen him give, he doesn't know much about real estate at all. Now, I know he's acquired a lot of property with 3,200 investors or something like that, but that's really, the OPM strategy, other people's money. And I think he could teach you that, but I don't think that's what I don't think that's where he's going here. So let's just take a look at this again.
Hey, if you're anything like me, you want to know how to buy real estate with no money. I've been doing this since I was 30 years old. My first deal, I put 3,500 down. Hey, look, I count that as no money, almost no money. I literally put $3,500 down on a $78,000 asset that cash flowed from day one. No money.
I think he's talked about that asset before, and I think he sold it and didn't make any money on it. For whatever reason, he jumped out real quick. So. Let's just see if he gets into the details of that, or what saying it cash flows. It's not very specific.
Money doesn't mean no money. It means either a little bit of money or somebody else's money. I'll make more sense of that. Just stick with me here, okay? Second house I bought with no money, zero. It was $92,500. Okay, I would end up selling this property for $125,000. I made 30 grand with.
Okay, that's like nothing. Just so you know, I don't care when he bought that. He went from 92 to 125. Just keep in mind that just the sales commission on this is going to be, on average $6,000 plus add some other minor fees. Just say $8,000. So really, it's like saying I bought it for 100 and sold it for 125. When you figure out the cost of it, right? That's not much. It's not much.
No money invested. Third deal that I bought. And you've heard me talk about this before, I bought for $1.9 million. The owner, the guy before me, had paid $5.1 million to build it. I paid $1.9, I put $350,000 down. You're like, I thought you said this was about no money down. I borrowed all this money. I borrowed some of it from my retirement account, by the way. I literally withdrew money from my retirement account for a short.
So I want you to consider this. So this is a guy that has been telling you, don't buy your home, don't buy a house, don't buy a house. Last 7 years, don't buy a house, invest with me, go to Cardone Capital, et cetera, et cetera. Over and over, he tells people, don't buy a house, don't buy a house. And it seems to be a total conflict with where he actually got his initial jump. But let's let him finish on this one.
For a period of time, would put it back in later when I rehabbed this property and got a loan on it. I'll explain that to you. I borrowed some from my mom. I put some money on my credit card. I took some money out of my business and borrowed the rest of the money from other family members.
Damn. Now he's got a wealthy family. I don't know about you, but there's never been any point in my time in life that I could go borrow part of a $350,000 down payment to buy a home. You know what I mean? In fact, if my kids asked, I'd probably say, hey, why don't you, buy it? Yeah, thanks, Chris, yeah.
That was no money down. Now, I did owe people money. So that deal worked like this. It was $1.9 million. Remember, the guy before me had spent 5.1. This was doing a major correction. Late 1990s, 600 banks had gone out of business.
Yeah, that's an unusual circumstance. And I also made money in that big crash. It started in the 80s, actually.
America. Some of you are too young to remember this happening, but it's happening again right now. There could be 600 bank failures, and you need banks going down. I don't wish for this, but you need banks going down and having problems to have a real estate correction. We're in the greatest real estate correction since 2008, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to have a crash to the extent, I mean, it would be nice. I mean, it could be profitable. Although the sub crashes that we've had since that time he's talking about in 1889, the government didn't handle the crashes the same way. Otherwise, the assets would have been, the ones he's talking about, the assets were made available to anybody and everybody out there in the USA. You know, people bought up stuff, I bought stuff, and you know, because it was scattered. Everybody could get at it, but they've never really allowed that to happen again.
Since 1996. And there's going to be a great opportunity for you to steal real estate that somebody paid, it looked like too much.
Right. So Chris actually this is one of Chris's hats. Chris, he's in the class. Also, Russ, who's here, is in the class. Chris actually has 2 properties under contract right now, and Chris is quite a success story. You can see him on FlipAnythingUSA. But we're going to watch Grant and see. I've never watched this. I'm watching it with you guys right now. And hey, everybody, be sure to get into my webinar this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. You know, skip the bar, go to the webinar, take 30 minutes, could change your life. Many millionaires, including the 2 guys that are in here, Chris and Russ, right there. You know, a lot of people can make $1 million. People that don't even expect they can do it. So let's keep watching.
That property, by the way, is worth $20 million today, even though I paid $1.9 million. So watch. I went and put together 350,000. The most important number in real estate is the number of units, but the most important step in real estate is the deal itself. Once you find a deal, you will always find what's called the down payment, the equity, or the money. You guys call it cash. You're like, I need some money. I don't have any money. You don't need your own money. You need somebody's money. By the way, this 1.650 is debt. That's other people's money. By the way, the bank gave me this loan based on the property's value and income, not based on my ability to repay the loan.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen today. That's not going to happen today. The bank, you qualify along with the property. It's not as simple as the property, just the property qualify. They want to, and back when he's talking about, they had some loans like that. You know, they used to have a thing when I was in the 80s that I'd buy property, and it was called a 25% down non-qualifier. If you could put 25% down, there was no qualifying. You didn't have to personally qualify. In some cases, they would do what they call a drive-by, and they would just do an in-house appraisal from the bank driving by. Yeah, I add a couple of crashes. After that, they don't do that shit anymore.
This is the beauty of buying multifamily. Multifamily allows you to borrow money from a bank, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, or a commercial lender or a regional lender allows you to borrow money that has nothing to do with your credit score. So this is other people's.
It's not exactly true. In general, they're going to want more of a comprehensive contract. You know, they're very risk averse.
Money too. This is the best debt you will ever get in your life because the property, it was called Cedar Woods LLC. Okay, it's still available today. And I think it's for sale right now, 25, 30 years later. It sold for $1.9 million. I put $350,000 down. The video says completely no money down. Look, that's the money down. I'm having to put the money down somewhere, but watch what happened to this, okay? This is how I raised this money. I took the 1.950, put $350,000 down. I owed friends and relatives, my IRA, my credit card, my brother, my mama. Okay, I borrowed this money, put it together. Some of it was from my company. I borrowed money from a company called Cardone Enterprises at the time. I need to borrow $75,000 from that, and I used this as a down payment, okay? I financed $1.6 million that cash flowed. You need cash flow to get this loan. The bank's not going to give you a loan without the cash flow. The cash flow was 12% on the $350,000, which was about $42,000 a year in cash flow. How did I pay back my retirement account? How did I pay back my brother and my mother? I paid them back on the cash flow from the real estate. I paid back my company on the cash flow. And I did that for 37 months until at which time somebody paid me $5.1 million.
I believe this is his house, isn't it? This is a house. Let's go back here. And I see this is what
down
Like I say, Grant just described buying 3 houses as I see it. And here he tells
maybe
everybody.
since 1996. And there's going to be a great opportunity to have a real estate correction. We're in the greatest real estate correction since.
Yeah. Anyways, again, like I say, it's the assets that he's told people not to buy
$3.2 million
for the
of
last
profit,
3 or
which,
4
by the way,
years
in a future video, when you
are
subscribe
exactly
to
the
the
kind
channel,
of
you'll get a
assets
warning,
that
a notice,
where he's made a
notification
little
that
bit
I'm
of
doing
money.
this video. I then transferred this to another piece of property. Well, guess what? I paid no taxes. That's simply how you buy no money down. By the way, I hadn't done this once or twice.
Yeah, again, like I say, there was a house I believe he referenced in this.
No money
And
down. By the way, I hadn't done this once
a lot
or
of
twice.
details left out
I've
here,
done
but-
this 5 billion times. Literally bought $5 billion worth of real estate by putting.
Right, but see, the key now with this other property he's buying, yeah, how's he doing it? He's doing it with the funds, right? Other people's money. You know, you can afford to make a little bit of money if you're getting half of that, a little bit amount that everybody else makes. You know, figure you have 3,200 investors, and you know, and whatever collectively they're making on average, just for say, you know, 4% interest, and again, they can't borrow the money at 4%. So, I mean, in other words, it's not a great return. You have no control over your assets. But you have 3,200 people that have collectively put money in and they're getting 4%. Maybe you're getting 6%, which is not even that great. But if you're getting that other 2% on all the assets, it's fantastic. It's not great for the investors, but it's good for you. But I don't see that he's actually talking about that.
Together networks of people, friends, family, investors. You can do it too, okay? Everything to do with real estate. I'm gonna show you how to buy it, when to buy it, where to buy it, how to fund it. Even if you don't have any money or no credit, this can be done at scale for anybody in America. Stay tuned to the channel. I'll be giving you more information just like.
All right, anybody, what do you guys think of that? Hey, Grant, how you doing there? What are you saying, Chris? A DSCR loan? Okay, yeah. No, well. All right, so yeah, let's go to the next one. Look, I tell in the class, the only thing I know for sure is I don't know for sure. I mean, we're definitely in a crash. And I will say this, if you can make something pencil, and look, I bought 4 houses in the last 6 months. I sold 2 of them in the last week, like a week, last 10 days. In fact, I just canceled the insurance on the last one. And, you know, I made 125 on one, about 70 on the other, so 200, and that's just, you know what I mean? It's you know, you can do that. And these are properties only $300,000. You know, a lot of people, you know, their eyes glaze over when Grant's talking about, oh yeah, go get yourself a $1.6 million property or a $1.9 million property. Yeah, much easier said than done, and it really, you're talking about a house that's really affordable to the 2%ers, right? The people that make over $400,000 a year, and maybe it's $500,000 a year, I don't know. But so what I am generally talking to is people that make a lot less than that want to make money in real estate, and it is possible. And if you go to FlipAnythingUSA.com, urge you to go there, sign up for a webinar. You can talk to me free this Thursday. All these people you see behind me. In fact, we just did this gentleman here, Shane, just did a second video with he and his wife. They made $350,000 in the 2 years that they've been in the class. And most of these people here have made $1 million. Most of these people you see here have made $1 million. Not all of them, but most of them. Others, hundreds of thousands. And so be sure, just hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You don't want the channel to get away from you, but certainly I'm telling you, put it on your calendar. You know, let me tell you, the only regret people have in my class is that they didn't get in earlier. They just wish they got in earlier. The sooner you get those skills, the sooner you can start applying them and making them money. I'm talking to you, Fod out there. Fod, he's been sitting on the fence, but he's going to do great. He's a young guy. Anyway, somebody wants to call in. I don't, Chris, Russ, anybody. You know, there's a number, and we can talk, and we can also jump to another video. That's fine too. The easiest way to become a millionaire. Let's go ahead and watch this one real quick and see. Like I say, with Grant,
very few people that make.
I don't think Grant is a good solution for most people. for trying to make money with their own money. I think he's a good motivational speaker. I think if you want to get hyped up and do a better job at work, I think he's got some, some CEO type stuff, and people that want to climb the ladder and work hard. I think he's got some worthwhile stuff. That's kind of how he started out. I believe he was a motivational speaker for corporations. But as far as an investor, I'm sorry, I've never. Just now, what we watched, no, and this too. Let's just see.
$1 million on one single family home. So what we're going to look for is the most important number in real estate, and that number is the number.
Let's start back here.
Hey, Grant Cardone here, bringing you all things real estate, and today I'm going to share with you how to make a $1 million profit on one piece of real estate. That's $1 million of profit on one piece of real estate. And at the end of the video, stay tuned. I'm going to show you how I made over $3 million on one deal. It's very, very simple. What you're looking for here is the profit on the deal. Look for one piece of real estate that will make you $1 million. Now remember, stay to the end of the video. I'm gonna show you how I made $3.6 million on one deal. And by the way, I did that with no money. I literally got the money from brother, sister, uncle, aunt, mom, like people. Okay, you don't need your own money, but you do need a target. And your target is $1 million, not just another piece.
So listen, I'll also show you some, I'll let him finish, but I'll show you where I've made $1 million on multiple properties of different kinds that you could buy by yourself without any help.
To real estate. That's why single family homes typically don't work to make that kind of profit. Very few.
No, they don't. But guess what? They're fantastic. Listen, I rolled 3 properties, made $1 million. What did I make? 4. I made $1.4 million on 3 pieces of 3 homes. They were all kind of next to each other, and rolled those into. You listen. There's so much money in flipping, and remember the assets that you probably can afford. Whether I don't care if you can only afford $50,000 or you can afford $400,000, right? In that range, that's the highest and greatest gains are on the properties that sell for under $100,000. I'm telling you this from experience. I bought hundreds of properties. And I've made the greatest gains have been on properties that I sold under $100,000. I buy lots for 10 grand, sell them for 30. I bought a lot for 30, sold it for 165. I bought another lot for 140, sold it for 520,000. I bought buildings for 240. Sold a building, I paid 240, sold it for $1.7 million. Guess what? No partners. All mine.
Few people that make $1 million on one single family home. So what we're going to look for is the most important number in real estate, and that number is the number of units. Ideally, you're looking for 32 units that rents are $200 a month. Too low. They should be $200 higher than they are. Let's say the rents are $800 and they should be $1,000. You're looking for 32 units where the rents are $200 too low. That's what? $6,400 a month, $76,800 a year. Okay, you're going to multiply this times.
So Chris actually in the class, he's saying he's going to make 80 grand on 2 deals this week. Wow. Are these wholesale deals? Is that what you're doing, Chris? Did you close them, or are you just wholesaling them out?
12 months. And then you're going to divide that by what's called the cap rate. This is very, very simple, basic real estate math, okay? The cap rate is the return. Let's say you want a 7% return. A 7% return is the cap rate that you need because it's a C property in a C neighborhood. If it was in Miami and Brickell, it'd be like a 5 cap, okay? And that would actually achieve a greater profit. The lower the cap rate, the higher the price. The higher the cap rate, the lower the price. So watch, the guy wants a 7% return. For me, raising the rents $200, if you take the $76,000 and divide by 7%, I think you're going to come up with $1 million.
So yeah, so one of the things we do in my class, and by the way, I'm going to show you this here again. These are my students, just some of them, and you can get in a webinar this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. You could become a millionaire just like most of the people you see on this page have become a millionaire since getting in the class. One wholesale, one self-close. Great, Chris. I want to hear more about those. But I'm going to jump over here to Google Earth just for a second because, again, the difference between someone like me and Grant Cardone is, he hasn't made that much money on individual deals that he's done. He's talking about probably the best that he's done. And that's fine if it works for you. Let me see here. Let's see. I'll show you some properties. Let me just go to this one first. Oh hell, I'll show you a good story. You like this one, guys. So look here, this actually tops them all. This building right here, okay, this is a property, I never even bought it. I leased this property for $3,000 a month for 7 years. I sublet it. I sublet out the entire building to his company because I had the right to sublet for $20,000 on average for the full 7 years. So $20,000 a year, 12 months, 240 times 7, almost $1.5 million in rents collected profit. That's just the profit on this property. It's like just almost 7.5 years. And, again, that's with no money down. This is a true no money down. This is me leasing it and then having the right to lease it out to somebody else. But I said I'd show you some $1 million deals and properties. Let me see if I can do that. Man, where is this layers? Oh, well, I'll show you another. Here's the thing. I remember almost every address of every property I've ever owned, especially the ones that I've made $1 million on. So I'm going to show you one here because this is one of the things all my students, and like Russ, who's in the class right now, he's already done it, and other students have done it, and others are gonna do it. Is we flip our houses and make our money, right? Sometimes collectively we can flip 3 together and roll maybe, I don't know, $400,000 or maybe even $1 million profit, just depends, into buying another property. But this is one of 4 buildings on 5 acres. I bought this one back here, kind of the ugly one, right? Looks ugly from the roof. I sold it with a terrible roof, actually. But I bought this for $240,000, and I sold it, and it was worth $1 million the day I bought it for $240,000. But I held it a little while, and I sold it for $1,725,000. So I made about $1.5 million just on this one property. And again, I didn't need partners. He was talking about, whatever, getting, every family friend and that. And I don't like that because if you make a mistake, then you bring other people down with you. You should be able to do it on your own, and you can do it on your own if the asset is worthwhile enough. But likewise, on these same properties, let's go over to oh no, not Shoal Creek. Oops, wrong address. Anderson. All right. So I'm going to show you a group of apartment buildings. I think I am, if I can find the damn things. Is that them? Here they are. See, I recognize them from the sky. Isn't that funny? Yeah, so look, let me just say it again. Like I say, I tell everybody, you're not going to find a better mentor than me because I buy the kinds of assets that everybody watching here drive by every day. I can and here's one of the things, one of my claims to fame is I can throw a rock, hit something I own, pick up that rock and keep chucking it, and within a rock's throw, just about everything nearby, one from the other, I can hit tens of millions of dollars in real estate, and I'll cover commercial, industrial, office, residential, land, tens of millions, rocks throw from each other. Anyway, this building here, these are all, look at, again, rocks throw from each other, right? 1, 2, 3, they're across the street from each other. This, together it was 58 units. This one, 13 units I bought. I bought this for 130, sold it for about 700, maybe 650. Yeah, it must have been 650, because I sold them for 55,000 a unit. So 55 times 13. This one across the street, 21 units right there. I paid $210,000 for these. Who couldn't come up with 210 grand, right? 30,000 square feet of building, 21 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 900 square foot properties, units. And then over here, same thing. This was actually 24 units. And I think the breakup was 12 2-1s and 12 1-1s. Again, collectively between the three, about $2 million. I made about $230,000 on this one. I made about $1.1 million, $1.2 million, about $1.1 million or $1.2 million on this one. And on this one, like I said, I made about $500,000. And this is what's out there. And actually, let's see what Russ has to say. Russ, by the way, is one of my millionaire students. Russ wrote, oh, nice, Chris. That's nice. Chris made 20 something on a wholesale and 50 on another, and that's fantastic. Yeah, those were in a condo regime. Not the apartments, but the buildings were that I showed earlier. Russ wrote, Tom, I'm also paying $3K on the lease and sublease to others. Should be $20K a month on both buildings once they're leased and done. This is what's so cool is my students are kind of basically retracing my steps. They're learning from me, and they're retracing. They're just getting successful and making money a lot faster than I did. And a lot of it has to do with the mentorship and having someone that they can lean on. So that's fantastic. So Russ, he's such a quick study. Russ blows me away, does fantastic. He's 30 years old, 4 kids, multimillionaire now. Anyways, yeah, thanks for sharing that, Russ. Also, still need to complete all of the work, probably 3 to 4 months left. Yeah, that's on one of his more recent deals. And if you get in the class, you'll hear and see about those too. Anyways, condo regime, yeah, the condo regime, their condo regimes are in all kinds of stuff. That one, it's okay. I mean, Shane, he made 200 grand on condos. It just it re-interviewed Shane. But yeah, these buildings that you see here, there's 100,000 square feet of buildings. Mine was about 12.5. This one was about 12.5. This one was 25. This one was 50,000. Together, 100,000 square feet. We had what we call not an HOA, but not a homeowners association, but like an office owners association. I can't remember what we referred to it now. But the bottom line, it was, for all intents and purposes, it was a owners association of 4 buildings. Actually, it turned into a big cluster, and we had some issues. I mean, I still made, like I said, $1.5 million. I'm happy and fine. But it's it's out there, folks. It's out there, and it's just whether you want apartment buildings, office buildings, houses. It just doesn't matter. Everything out there, just when you drive down the road, look at all the cars around you. Every one of them are heading home. When you pull back, look at this picture. Nothing but real estate, nothing but houses and buildings. Whether you want, and this is the whole thing. It's where if you get in my class, the goal is get you making your money on houses and land, and then start rolling those profits and get you into some commercial, industrial, office buildings that you can hold on to that will pay you and take care of you for the rest of your life. It's a wonderful thing. And it's a life I've lived, and now my students are doing the same thing, and they're getting there quickly. Chris wrote, I guess I was asking, did you buy the whole building as one unit and then resell it? Yeah, this is a complex story, but yeah, so Chris asking, did you buy the whole building as one unit? I bought the whole building as one unit. Yes, I did. But just to understand this, Chris, and I'll show you again. So this is 5 acres of land that you see right here, inside this little periphery right here. And each building, we were a homeowners association of 4. It didn't matter how big your building, this is also stuff that's just points of interest. It didn't matter how big you were, you still only had 25% voting power, right? Each building, had 25%. Now, within the buildings, you could create another you can have a condo association within a condo association. And that's what happened here. There was 24 units within this 50,000 square foot building. So they had their condo association, but that association was subordinate to any of the deals that, to anything that the 4 of us agreed to, or the 3 of us agreed to, right? Because it only took a vote of 3, majority rules. That's how it works. Chris wrote, I guess, okay, so you got your answer on that, I think, Chris. By the way, anybody wants to call in, feel free. We'll look at any property you have. If you want to analyze something, I'd be happy to do that for you. We can go back and listen to some more Grant Cardone, if you like. But while you're here, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And I'm just telling you, I'm so passionate about the real estate and the success of the students. I got to tell you, get in a webinar. Get in a webinar. I got married couples, getting in, working together, and making the dream happen for their kids. I just did another video on Clint, Clint LeMaster, you know, I'd see him, and really even Russ too. You know, I'll see him in class. I'll see 3 kids behind him, or 4 kids behind him, or 2 kids behind him. You know, in a minivan or a big SUV, whatever it is. You know, you're creating generational wealth here, and a skill that you can pass on to your kids, and it's very worthwhile. And I just hope, you know, I'm the luckiest guy in the world, because I get to work with my kids now, my adult kids, and most people don't get to do that. Most people don't get to do that, and watch them, you know, just bloom into fantastic investors, just like the students in my class. So, anyways, I guess nobody wants to talk. Anyways, and somebody that's never called before, come on, call in. Oh, there's Liam. Hey, Liam, how you doing, Liam? Let's see. All right, I don't know where I feel like I'm missing something here. I'm not sure what's going on here. Anyways. All right, what else? Hey, the main thing here is I'm trying to tell people, get in the webinar this Thursday. If you haven't seen it yet, you should check out the video with Shane. I'll just jump over to that real quick. Let me get another window opened up here. Oh, I think they might have got this the murder suspect arrested finally. Boy, that was a cold son of a bitch. I don't know if you guys saw the shooting, but it was pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Oh yeah. Let me take you there. Oh, that's us live right now. Yeah, right here. You got to see these guys.
I want my son to do it, and because I'm telling him this is the best thing you can do for your future. You know, I mean, this can change your whole life. It did ours.
Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So you know, you can't ask for a better recommendation than somebody that encourages their kids to get in the class and do the same thing. I mean, that says it all to me. So listen, create that generational wealth like these two are. And like I said, they got in. They're really not heavy on cash and totally new to real estate. And they made $350,000, made 120 of it in the first 7 months. And you can too. Clint here made $70,000 with his wife, first deal they did. So it's just so cool. I just can't tell you enough. Take time, get in the webinar. Take time, get in the webinar. If you don't look, you're never gonna know what's inside. Anyways, what's up with you, Clint? Anything happening today? Anything on your mind? You got anything new? Chris, that's great, Chris. Nailing 2 like that. You know, and that the thing, if you notice, Chris and Clint, between the two of them, they just flipped 3 houses. And Chris actually, one of them, he actually wholesaled in this too. But there's money that's out there. You just gotta, you know what? You gotta find it. It's 100% out there. A lot of people don't realize it is. But once they find out, you know, it's like if you learn how to treasure hunt. You know, if you ever pan for gold or sluice for gold, you know, it's there, it's out there. You just got to know where to look, and you know, that's the main thing. So, all right. Anybody? What else you want to do? Where you want to go? We can. Oh my gosh, let me see here. This is just too much. Oh God. I'm going to go back one. Let's look at his 6 things to look for in real estate. Why not? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Clint.
This is 6 things you're looking for when you buy a piece of real estate. If these 6 things do not exist, you're not going to buy a piece of real estate. These are my criteria for buying real estate. I actually have an extended list, but I'm going to tell you the short list real quick to keep things very, very simple. Number 1, cash flow. Dude, if it don't cash flow positive, I never buy it. Listen to me.
That's 100%. Agree with that.
I never buy it. Period. End of story. If it costs $10,000 a month for the mortgage, the property insurance, the
Yeah, obviously, whatever the costs are, all this stuff. So, you know what? But you know what? I believe Grant has had trouble, just like a lot of people, and they stop paying dividends on the funds. So that would be an indication of a problem with cash flow. So he says he never buys them, but it doesn't mean they haven't gone sour on him, or at least temporarily. Grant, I was pretty critical of Grant. He, when the big hoax was out about this big sea hoax, I'll call it, he was shook up. He was kind of, in fact, I've got this little clip here, but you can kind of see how you can kind of see people break under pressure. He said he was going bankrupt as a joke, which I think was so ridiculously unprofessional. He had announced, said he went broke. He was filing bankruptcy, selling his plane. Now imagine you're one of those 3,200 investors with him, and you hear this, and then you find out 24 hours later that he didn't mean it. It's not true, or maybe he meant it, but maybe it didn't happen. I don't know. But he kind of fell apart, and then I remember he made this little video. Maybe some of you remember this.
You and you got a good attitude, and you ain't a little bitch. You ain't a little baby, you ain't a crybaby, you ain't stupid baby, you ain't dumb. Yeah, I need my money, I gotta buy a Rolex.
Yeah, so anyways, it was not a great moment. And you know what I mean? I understand he was stressed and all, but I don't like the way he handled it. Clint wrote, have you ever had a piece of land with two residences that shared a well but had two separate septic systems? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's not unusual, Clint. It's in fact in the class you'll see that we've got one of our oh gosh, who is it? Oh God, his name escapes me. I got to see his face again. Yeah, anyways, one of our guys that's flipping land primarily, and I've done it too. But yeah, I have a property right now that I have a couple of them, but I have one right now in California that has it actually has a shared well, has its own septic system. And that's not unusual because, well can be a significant cost, to some people. And so they'll drill a well and then they'll put it like in the middle, if you can imagine, like a tic-tac-toe box, right? Or just 4 squares within 1 square. They put the well off center, in the middle basically, right square in the middle. And then they create basically a water company. And it's like creating an HOA of 4, but it's really about the well. It's just about the well. So everybody pitches in, and to maintain the well, if you ever have a well motor go out, it's like a $6,000 problem. They got to come out, they got to pull that pump from the very bottom, hundreds of feet up, change it out, drop it back down. So Clint says, so he's concerned about that. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would look into it, but it's not a big deal. People share wells all the time. That is a piece of the deal I'm trying to work out. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's not uncommon. You want to make sure they got water, and it's super important, of course. Got to have water. Let's see, Russ wrote, I had that too. Neighbor tried to turn off the well to my property. Cause well was on his property with me having access to it. I had to fight him to restore the well. Yeah, it's, stuff happens. I can tell you some of the things that spur those arguments is one guy lives there, he's got the well, and the well goes out, and he spends his money to get it up and fixed. And then maybe his neighbors are kind of deadbeats, and they don't want to pay him anything. And then he gets sour, and then pretty soon he doesn't want to share at all. I mean, that can happen. In fact, like I said, I have a guy that he maintains the well in one of the properties, and I pay him just very promptly because I'm thankful he's messing with that stuff, so I don't have to. But the main thing you want to make sure is that when you get a well that it is sufficient. In other words, like you got to whatever, hopefully 13 gallons a minute, at least, and you somehow operate on much less than that. I've seen some crazy water systems. I've seen people where there's just a trickle of water coming out of the mountain, and that's feeding their, they just got to let that little trickle store, and then they work off of that. So look, let's just, Grant Cardone's 5 things he looks for. Let's see if we can get through this.
running of the property, everything. Like, yeah, you take everything. Basically, you take all the rent, less all the expenses, less the interest and principal. You take all those things. If this number is not positive, don't do it, okay? These are the different reasons. See, insurance, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, and I 100% agree with what he's saying. 100% agree with what he's saying. Now, there are some exceptions to this. So I'll give you an example. You know, I look for properties that are poorly managed, let's say. I'm going to show you one right here, 1200. This is a property I bought a few years ago. Still have it, fantastic. I think this is the name. Yeah. So this is a commercial strip center. And also, Grant will tell you he doesn't like strip centers. Oh, people got to have a place to live. I love strip centers. This is so far superior to apartments. So far superior. You know, when you have apartments, you've got carpet, you've got paint, you got to make those apartments ready every time somebody else is going to move in. You don't have any of that bullshit with commercial property. The tenant, you just deliver a clean white box. But you know, basically, you know, places like this. In fact, I made $1 million on this thing the day I bought it. In other words, I just picked up that equity, and it was going to the point of the property really didn't cash flow when I was buying it, but it was because it was poorly managed. It was under rented. The rents were too low, and the sellers just were kind of unaware. Anyways, so I made a deal on that, raised the rents, and you know, makes a lot of money, and it's worth a lot more than I paid for it. So let's go back to Grant. And any comments, guys, feel free, or if anyone wants to jump in on a call.
The stock market doesn't cash flow. Bitcoin doesn't cash flow. Silver doesn't.
When Bitcoin actually cash flowed here this last week or two, I guess, I wouldn't touch Bitcoin. I'm with, you know, I think it's shit coin, I call it. Trading turds like, you know, Warren Buffett. In fact, I would tell anybody, and I don't pretend to be an expert on it at all. I don't even think there is such a thing. I just think it's just stupid. You know, I just think it's stupid. People buying it. It's trading turds. You know, it's like hot potato. The last one that gets it, the last one gets stuck is going to get stuck with it. But we'll keep listening.
Doesn't cash flow. Gold doesn't cash flow. A business cash flows. But the problem with a business cash flowing is you're having to work the business. You got to work it to earn it.
So I agree with what he's saying right now, for sure. You know, but Grant usually, when he runs through these scenarios, in the end, he talks about this is the best asset class in the world. This apartment buildings. Go ahead, go out there and buy yourself a $40 million building, because he knows you can't do it. So he says, or invest with me. The problem with investing with him is you don't get all the profit. You just get a piece of the property, and that in itself is why it doesn't make any sense for people to invest in funds in general, unless somebody really, really has a stellar record.
Okay, real estate's passive cash flow, and that is the number one reason you want to do it. Number two, and I'm gonna give you one senior reason above all these. Number
Get in my webinar.
So just because it cash flows doesn't mean I'll buy it. It has to appreciate as well. If it will go up in value over time. Okay, you guys that are in North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, anywhere where there's job booms, maybe you had a big job boom, something freak happened outside of Austin, Texas, south and east, and Tesla went over there. Look, if nobody follows Elon out there, bro, that's gonna be a boom and bust market. North Dakota, Fargo has been a boom and bust market for years. People moved to Idaho. Boise. They flooded out of California to Boise. Will they stay there? I don't think so, but maybe. If they do, cool.
Yeah, you have to look at the draw. And like he talked about Austin, so look at Austin is far more than just Elon Musk and Tesla. We are, they call it Silicon Hills now. This is my neighborhood, right? I mean, we've got Samsung, we've got Apple, we've got, you know, just hundreds of thousands of square feet of office and cubes for employees of those companies. We've got, you know, a huge soccer stadium now. We have the Circuit of the Americas. That's a billionaire sport. In fact, we can take a look at that from the mirror or in the Google Earth. So let's keep watching.
You get appreciation. If they don't stay, you got a problem. Number three.
Well, he's right. You don't want to get in a bust area. You know, and like, you know, it's terrible when the Biden administration came in and canceled the pipeline, just killed that. I think it was South Dakota, right?
One
The
depreciation.
Canadian pipeline.
Okay, and next to depreciation, you want to write accelerated. I want to accelerate this depreciation. I want to put it on steroids. I don't want to write it off over 27 years. A home is depreciated over 27 years. You buy a house for $270,000, every year you get a $10,000 depreciation. An apartment building, 4 units, okay, $270,000, the same price. I can deduct probably $140,000 of that in the year I buy it. I could own it for 1 day and get a write-off, a depreciation of.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand there's huge benefits with holding real estate just for the reasons he's saying. You know, the write-offs and the depreciation. You know, it's a paper depreciation. It's not a real one, but it works to offset, you know, income, and so it's a wonderful tool for you know, lowering your taxes.
Of $140,000, which means my cash flow from the asset, these are connected, my cash flow from the asset will not be taxed for the first 4 or 5 years I own it. Okay, number 4, tax deferment. There's a thing called a 1031, okay? My company's actually working on creating a 1031 exchange, or what's called a DST, so that you could sell your property. My buddy just sold a storage property for $8 million. Storage is great, by the way. Storage, retail,
RV parks.
RV parks, enormous. I'm looking at a guy's RV. He's got a massive RV collection, pads, where he just gets the passive income. Passive income, he got the appreciation. Not a lot of depreciation, not a lot because it's an RV pad, but my buddy sells the storage units. He makes $8 million. He can move that $8 million into a like-kind exchange or 1031 and not pay taxes.
And understand, like-kind is pretty broad. He doesn't have to buy another RV park. He could roll that into, you know, a commercial building or office building. You know, like-kind is kind of like real estate for real estate.
On that thing, defer them literally forever, not pay taxes, okay? Number 5, you want to be able to finance or refinance these properties. One of the biggest scores I've ever had in my life was refinancing a piece of property I don't own for 5 or 6 years. Me and Jared bought a deal. How much was that deal, Jared? $4 million?
Yeah, $4
million. I bought that deal with $300,000 down. How much did you put, Jared?
$150.
He put $150,000 down. Okay, I put the rest down. We bought this deal. This was in
2012.
2012. In 2013, we refinanced the property. We owed $3.6 million. It was on my schedule of assets. He was my partner in the deal. Okay, I didn't do the whole deal. I did part of it with him, and
I got 90 grand back.
he put $150,000 down, and a year later got $90,000 back. This is a refinance, right? If you're taking notes, or a recapitalization of his investment. Number 6 way to make money in real estate is to sell it. The worst way is number 6. The biggest mistake I ever made in real estate was not getting started. Second biggest mistake was going too small. Third biggest mistake was buying too few properties. Okay, like I didn't follow it up. I should have stayed in the neighborhood. Number 4 biggest mistake I ever made was selling any of my real estate.
All right. Again, look at Grant. He is, you know, over the years, I think he's given up some really pretty terrible advice for small investors, for sure. I'm not a fan of the fund. I'm not a fan of most funds, to be honest. Anyways, but. Anyways, I appreciate him sharing, and like I say, if anybody here is interested in learning how to invest, because you believe me, you got to know how to invest. Certainly, before you throw your money in with somebody else, you should still know how to invest. But if you know how to invest, you'll never have to throw in money with anybody else, or if you do, you'll be the one in charge. So anyways, go back here if you can. Hey, be sure to get in the webinar at 7 p.m. this Thursday. And, I'll talk to you. Just go here to FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. And again, you can, your classmates, if you get in, you're just going to be among the wealthiest real estate students there are, and the brightest, smartest. It's very, very cool. Let's see, we got Anik. Anik said something here. Let's see. Hello, my credit is completely shot. I'm sorry to hear that. And I only have $5K to my name, and I want to buy property or service-based business, both through seller creative financing. No advice for you. And here's the deal. How old are you? How old are you? Here's the problem. And I'm not trying to be hypercritical of you, but when people lose their ass and destroy their credit, you've ruined yourself, to be honest. And I'm not saying you can't recover from it, but the bottom line is you made a big mistake, and when you make one mistake, people think you may repeat the same mistake again. And so you're at a risk. And so, the money's going to cost you more. And, I would tell you if you got $5,000, I mean, you don't even qualify to be in my class. But I would tell you buy my book. Buy my book, right? There you go. Buy my book, right? Buy my book. Let's start with that for $20, and then the disciplines you need to have are that you can save. You really need to be able to save, and you should have a skill where you can make some money. But bank ain't going to touch you. If you find a fantastic deal on a property, you can find a partner that'll put up the money to buy it. You can, and if you do it right, you can flip it, and you can you'll make your half of the money or whatever you negotiate with your money guy. Kenneth wrote here. He's got some advice for you. He said, take the $5K for your credit if possible. I'm not even. Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about it. If you got $5,000, just keep saving some more. You've already ruined your credit. It's going to be the way you're going to recover from that is go make some real money. Just go make some real money, and I would it doesn't really answer your question right. You're in a weak position for making money in real estate, to be quite honest, but it's not impossible. It's hard to give you any advice without knowing more about you. I want to know how much you make a year. I want to know how old you are. I want to know what your talent is. I heard there is no need for capital to do seller finance deals for both property and businesses. Yeah. Well, go get some. How old are you? You're not even answering any of my questions. I need to know how old you are. I'm guessing you're pretty young. But here's the deal. If you can get seller finance deals, then you can negotiate whatever buyer and seller agree to. You can do. You can agree to 0 interest, 0 down. And believe it or not, you got a guy right here in front of you. See this guy right here? Let me show you this guy. This is one of my students. He's made over $1 million, about $2 million now.
Hey, Tom, it's Eric. It's great to be able to share this video with you. I just want to thank you for your help in last week.
So I want you to see this because this is one of my great students, and I have many of them. But this student, and this is for you, Amika or Anika. I can't quite understand your name here, but read it. 23. So look, he's about 10 years older than you. He bought a property, 0 down, 0 interest rate. I've never even done that, right? I've never done that. And that's what's fantastic. I'm starting to see my students do things that even I haven't done. And that's kind of how it works in real estate. It's anyways, but listen to this just a little.
Closest deal, a huge deal that I had been working on, and it was great to be able to reach out to you. Your mentorship has been great, man. Having the calculators in there, the members forum, access to you by phone when for critical support. It was just great to know that, I had you in my corner with your track record and your success and your results over the past decades. It's just undeniable that you've obtained the knowledge that I needed. So I didn't even think twice about it. I've been following you off and on.
So I just want you to see that great guy, humble guy. He made $800,000 on a trailer park, made another $800,000 on a piece of land, and he's got other deals he's made, smaller amounts on. And so, Amika, listen, your credit shouldn't be shot when you're 23, so you need to work on that. But the other thing is, get my book, okay? Get my book. It costs you next to nothing, ain't gonna break you. Try to increase your $5,000 or more. Don't borrow money. Try to figure it out on your own, because that's really what you need to do. Because you're just difficult to count on other people, and you probably don't want to borrow other people's money if you have a track record of not doing so well with it right now, which is kind of what it sounds like. So hey, I'll leave it there, and so hey, come join me this Thursday night. And you can bring your real estate questions. If I don't care if you have a $10 million portfolio or less or more, I'll be happy to look at whatever issue you have. And if you want to tweak it and make it better, that's what I'm good at. I like to roll people. You husband and wives for sure, get in this thing, get in here. But the others, particularly, if you own a few houses, listen, get in here. You're not getting wealthy enough fast enough. That I promise you. Mika wrote again, I paid my rent on my credit card. Terrible. Couldn't pay it back. I moved across the country. Well, all you can do is fix it, right? Get your bill, pay it back, and get back in good standing. And, you know, that's the main thing. It's just having an outstanding debt, I think, is what hurts you the most. If the numbers work on a seller finance deal, I wouldn't have any issues making payments. Seller finance. How much money do you make from your job? What's your job, and how much do you make? That's what I'm gonna. I mean, let me tell you what. That's anybody that's gonna, and not exclusively. Seller financing, you know, they can do a credit check on you or not. It's up to the seller, right? It's up to the seller. It's going to take it's going to allow you to, owe a note and secure it with a deed of trust. But again, a lot of times, a lot of people get in over their head beyond their talent, right? In other words, you try to put together a deal, and if you don't know what you're doing, and I have no reason to believe you do know what you're doing, you're probably not going to convince anybody that's going to throw money at you. You might have a family member, but if you don't know what you're doing and you make a mistake and you drag them down with you, that's going to be a disaster, and you don't want that. So it's just really important that you got to surround yourself with more talent. To be quite honest, I don't know what else to tell you. But anyways, everybody, thanks for watching. And again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and please join me this Thursday, 7 p.m. I'll be back on tomorrow. See ya. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face-to-face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.